Revolution Radio on revolution.radio. Home to ideas. Ideas are good. As long as they're not outlawed. Not yet. No thought police yet. You just wait. You just wait. The station is not supported by anybody other than you, the esteemed listenership. So if you can donate, please do. If you cannot, that's okay. Just tell people about the station. That's just as good. Spread the word. The more people listen, the more people are likely to donate. It's all a numbers game. Today is the 11th January 2024. And I still haven't got a flying car. You can catch the cave on the air, on the line all the time, and onto your smart device. And capture it with an app. Any app. Get an app. Just get an app. Or, if you prefer, you can listen at home on a Grace Tabletop Digital Radio. Archives are still free. Another good reason to donate if you can. Please do. Like I said, if you can't, okay, tell people. Tell the people. Make my people listen to the radio. But before we start broadcasting at you in anger, we would like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land from which we broadcast. And today
it's the
it is
Bundjalung people. Mm. The old mute problem is the Bundjalung.
Thank you, sir. For myself, the Daruk people, of course. And we would like to pay our respects. Elders past, present, and future. And all indigenous people anywhere have a lot to share. I actually went into an art gallery. Oh, not art gallery. It's like an art shop where you can buy art. There's a lot of Aboriginal art. And I looked at the price of these paintings. And I think all things considered, it was reasonably priced. But I'm convinced that the artists are getting a fraction of whatever the gallery owner gets for it. They get a fraction of that. So
you mean not a couple of points of margin?
I used to be in retail, both large retail as well as I was in the jewelry trade. In retail, the markup is phenomenal. It is. So let's say a whole bunch of new dresses comes in here. So let's say it's 100 dresses. They come in all sizes. Let's say there's 6 different sizes, and so you get some 18 odd dresses in each size. And you only have to sell 2 to make money on those 100 dresses. You only have to sell 2. In the jewelry trade, I was working in an open store when I was at uni as well, and the markup was in the thousands of percent.
Mm-hmm.
Thousands of percent. Okay, it's we create. This is really interesting. We create this non-existent value, right? Because I can, Dave. I could have a lemonade stand if I wanted to, right? Then I could charge $1 million for each lemonade.
That's right.
Right? I could do that because it's not against the law. I can do whatever I want. I mean, I have to find some suckers to buy my lemonade, of course, but I could. Now, in legitimate retail,
That's an oxymoron.
That's what it is. We have the suckers. And I'll tell you what I mean. So there's a Louis Vuitton shop in the city, in Sydney, on George Street, right on the corner, right? Louis Vuitton. And these handbags, look, I haven't got one, I don't know, but they cost thousands of dollars, I'm pretty sure, right? That's how much they cost. And other stuff. They sell other stuff. But I saw people line up to get into the store to shop. I mean, when I was younger, I used to line up for nightclubs. Sure, I did that, or for rides, at an amusement park, because I couldn't afford express tickets, because I was poor. Barely afford a ticket to get in the park. But I don't understand, and I've seen this now in the Apple store as well, obviously. I don't understand I really don't. I don't understand why you would line up to spend
Demand,
money in
Mickey.
a shop. Sorry?
It creates demand.
You don't know.
If you have a store, say you and I, right, say you and I have that once in a lifetime opportunity of being able to have lemonade by the street, right? And then you put one of those ropes, the velvet ropes, out the front, and you just put people waiting. Suddenly, that $1 million seems a lot cheaper.
No. I
know you know. I know.
I know why the shop does it. What I don't understand at all is why people actually line up. That's what I don't understand. Because
Other people line up. I feel like a flamingo. I'm ready to go.
That's it. and that, in a nutshell, is what's wrong with society. Okay.
Flamingo was the hint then, you see, in that sentence.
No.
If you're not aware, flamingos require a crowd of flamingos in order to reproduce as a species. That's probably the best way and safest way. Good morning to everyone in the US, by the way.
We like to watch. But more to the point, we like to be watched.
That's right.
It's a huge problem, right? So here we are creating this non-existent value, and that's of course a knock-on effect to the entire economy. Money is created out of thin air, and then we got all kinds of issues and problems. But I didn't really want to talk about the economy today, I'll be honest with you. Even though, we you know what? Maybe we'll have a show cycle again, Dave, on the ills and the ailments of the economy and how we can make it better. Because the truth is this.
That should take us to our 700th show.
So it's easy enough to come up with a system that's better than what we have. It really is. Mm-hmm. It's not hard at all. And we just have bought into it. We've bought into the fact that we think what we have, capitalism, is I'll spend 5 minutes on it. So we've bought into the idea that capitalism is a good idea. Now, capitalism isn't that old. It's a relatively recent thing, and we think, that in capitalism, in a free market economy, right, everything is going to work out just dandy, right? We're just going to have, everybody's going to make money, and the markets will regulate themselves, right? And competition is going to be great. This is a free market. It's not being regulated. The government is not trying to control it. They're not taxing the living daylights out of business, etc., etc. Now, that's exactly the opposite of what actually happened. Everybody trends to have a monopoly. We are trending toward monopolies. That's just who we are, people, right? I mean, why do I want competition? I don't want competition. Let me give you a simple example. How many alternative energy technologies, ideas, patents, actual devices were bought up, destroyed by, suppressed by big oil, big energy concerns? And the answer is every last one.
All of them, that's right.
All of them. Okay, so now this is big hoo-ha, and still we have big oil chairing the climate conference. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. No, the free market, number one, it's not free, and it doesn't work. Trickle-down economics is a fantasy. None of this works. People aren't built that way. And in fact, the parasites that are on top, they don't have anything to do with trickle down. I don't care about trickle down. I want everything. Mm-hmm. See, they're the haves and the have-nots, right? And there are people that want to have more.
You have nots.
Yeah, that's right. And there are people you used to point the finger out. They have mores, right? Forget those. The people that you have to worry about is the I want to have alls, right? That's what you have to worry about. And that's where we are. We have, with these billionaires, we have to have alls. I want to have everything. I want to have everything. Thank you very much.
Well, that still works for them, because you can, instead of with one company having all, you can just buy all of the companies.
That's it. And now we're seeing these massive mergers across all technologies, across all businesses, industries. And to the detriment, of course, of the nation state. There are no longer any nation states. They didn't exist. You think you're going to vote for the American president in the election? What's that going to do for you? You're funny. I mean, not since Eisenhower. Maybe Eisenhower was the last. Maybe Kennedy tried to bring it back, but not since Eisenhower has to be the president that was not in the pocket of one of the massive corporations. Maybe Jimmy Carter. In America, I mean, right? And by proxy, and the corporations are controlling almost every nation on Earth, be it via the larger nations like America or the European Union or whatever, what have you. But ultimately, right, the concept of a nation state is ridiculous. That's why you have people like Donald Trump and Putin trying to recreate, resurrect the idea of the nation state. I want to make America great again. I want to make Russia great again. Yeah, I want my nation state that I feel connected to on a very deep and spiritual level. I want that nation to be great again. You can't. That ship has sailed. You cannot make the nation great again. It's not possible. Right? And capitalism is just as dead as communism. Both don't work. Look at the state of the world and tell me, hand on heart, that you think that capitalism works. Hand on heart. Millions of people starving to death every year.
There's a new ism that I don't think has a definition, which is the one where there isn't an economy that runs the way it does. There's a new ism. And it's around the corner. The WEF have decided they're just, it doesn't matter anymore. We got to the top of the capitalism tree, I suppose, right? And so look, we don't want to do this anymore. We actually don't. We just want to run everything. And that's the way to do it. I'm not saying it's the right way to do it. It'll have to have a run for us to decide whether it was good or not, but then it's already too late. It'll never come back.
But the thing is this, right? We have never had a choice in any of this.
That's
Nobody
right.
ever asked us. Everything, again, history lesson.
Did you get the memo, Mackie, on that newism?
I wasn't. They must have lost my carbon copy. But look, everything that we have as workers, and I class Dave and myself here because we actually have to work for a living. Mm-hmm. Everything we have as workers, and I spoke about this before, like paid holidays and the 8 or 9 hour whatever a day, the 35, 40 hour week,
60-hour week, yeah, that's that.
The healthcare, all of that stuff, all of the things that workers like entitled to now, right, by law. That wasn't a happy negotiation. That was like big capital coming together with the workers and saying, you guys have been working hard. I think you should have holidays. Do you know what they said? I read a few transcripts recently. There was this. I think this was the English lady. She was an aristocrat and nobility, and she goes, "What do the workers want with holidays anyway? What could they possibly do? What? Yeah, let's just let them work 10 hours a day for 7 days a week for 365 days a year. Let's just do that. Giving them holidays, preposterous. It's like saying, we should have chimpanzees in school now with our kids. I reckon that's how they thought of it, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, what? It was an alien notion, right? You have to always remember the times that these people lived in. People died for what we have today, and we're about to give it away. In fact, we're not actually giving it away, Dave. It is sort of
we're all buying it.
Well, it's withering away.
It's withering away. Oh, okay, because I wanted to. I have my wallet open.
I know. No, what I mean by that is, now most of our jobs are disappearing for various reasons.
Oh, and rapidly in the future. Yeah. I'm just going to put my crystal ball out there.
That's right, and they used to disappear overseas. That's sort of stopped somewhat. Mm-hmm. They're just disappearing with technology and with AI and generative AI and so forth, that's going to go even faster. But they're also withering away in other ways. There's no more work to be had, and we are all buying into the gig economy. Now, the gig economy is an interesting new thing, where you don't really work for anyone, you do their bidding, but you don't actually have a structure or an employment contract. You're a contractor, if you want to put it that way, right? Like the Uber people and the Airbnb people, and all the other people that have this platform business model. Because what Uber says and all the other platform people, look, I'm providing a platform. I don't care what you do with it. Here it is. You want to use my platform? You're going to pay me a cut. That's all. My algorithm will connect you to your next fare. That's my involvement.
That's right.
That's all. I'm not your boss. I don't care about your health insurance. I don't even care about the state of your car or your driving history. None of that are any concern to me. I just provide a platform. And
because there's ratings per the driver, so that looks after itself.
Yeah, exactly. And what is happening here, because you're not actually employed there. You're not entitled to any workers' benefits.
And all your rights disappear, that's right.
They never existed because you don't have an employment contract.
That's right.
You're just using a platform, an
or
app.
An hourly rate, that's all you are.
Yeah, you've signed up to the app. The app is a non-legal entity. It's just like playing Candy Crush. Same thing. There's no difference legally, right? And you go, okay, so what does that mean? It means that we've created this substrata of workers that have no legal standing at all. I mean, even if you used to be a pizza delivery driver, the pizza place would hire you. I used to be a pizza delivery driver, right? They hire you when you're working for the pizza place. That's who you're working for, right? That's your boss. So you with the pizza car or maybe your own car, and then you deliver pizzas. That's gone. There's none of that, and it's astounding. We're okay with it, to create the substrata of workers that have no rights at all. There's no sick leave. If you cannot work in this situation, guess what happens? You don't make any money.
That's right.
None. Zero. And a lot of companies want to go that way. I remember, Dave, it was probably before you joined the company Dave and I worked at together. There was our CTO or CIO, I forget what his title was, but in his mind he had this vision. This was back in 2011 maybe. He had this vision that he wanted us to compete for work. So we are a large IT company, okay? That's what we do, provide IT services. And in his mind, he wanted all the work that came in to be bid on by the employees.
Wow.
Like have a crowdsourcing, but inside the company. And when I heard about that, I thought, that's complete insanity. How's that going to work? Again,
don't worry about dividing up the work and giving really important things to valued employees.
Yeah, exactly. So conceptually, in his mind, that was a great idea. And look, to be honest with you, if you just look at it from a purely speculative, conceptual, theoretical point of view, on a spreadsheet, you go, hey, this is actually not a bad idea. In reality, it's one of the worst ideas you could ever come up with. Right? You might as well dissolve the company, just crowdsource everything. Maybe that was the plan. But of course,
there's an idea.
That'll work. Of course, that didn't work, and we didn't do it, right? Because you know what the stumbling block was? To have a skills register. That was a stumbling block. Nobody filled it in, or they filled it in correctly, or they made themselves expert in everything, whatever. So you've got a skills register. I'm God level at everything. Okay, really?
Yeah, I remember Mackie, because I'll be nice. When I filled it in, I asked how was the best way to fill it in. Oh, look, if you've installed something out of one of those 10 quadrillion categories, if you've installed it, you put this number in. If you've written a statement of work for it, you do that. If you've maintained it, then you do this number. And a lot of those categories I'd worked well with, and I was told you can't do that. You've got to choose one.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I don't want to maintain everything, right? But you said it's a skills matrix. So it immediately became useless because I was being instructed to downgrade everything that I'd put in because you weren't allowed. You're meant to be a specialist in something.
Yeah,
And it didn't count for an all-rounder. So
yeah, no,
that's
it's
very
like
funny.
the whole concept. Well, it's nice to understand what people do, but you then either you can take two things. You can either control it completely and you test everybody. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Or you have to trust people and they put in what's correct, right? So either way, you're
trusting people. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that's not where it happens. But the point here is this: we are moving away from all the rights that our ancestors, if you will, fought so hard for us to have, so hard. And we just, because the thing is, I don't think we understand. Most of us don't understand what's happening in the world, right? And we're so caught up in our entertainment, slave work, shopping cycle, as Dave puts it, that there's really not much else that is being thought about or discussed, really, by many people. Again, I'm not putting people down, right? Hey, up with people, but it is concerning that the criticality of the situation is no longer being realized. People just don't see it as it really is.
Oh no, we're drowned in media to a point where we have no time to think about what's truly important to us.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you watch these shows. I think you made a comment to me about this. In Australia, we used to have this show called Gladiators.
Yeah, I did. I told you this one. Yep.
Yeah, that's being brought back, and I saw the ads for it, and
it's been gone for more than a decade.
Oh yeah, easily.
Right.
These muscle-bound champions that will stop you from winning $1 million or whatever it is, right?
It's their whole job to train on these apparatus. Yeah. And be awesome, and any person who thinks they can win against them is absolutely incorrect. Let's put it that way.
We must crush them.
Yeah. So you're the hapless sap going up against a total professional in the field, and good luck. It
is kind of sanctified bullying. Because that's what happens in the school, yeah. You know what I mean? Like the bigger kids will pick on you, and then everybody stands around to watch.
And yell, fight.
It's not them.
Fight. That's right.
That's right. And that's what happens, right? So, and this is what this is. So the big guys are picking on the littler guys, as it were. But ultimately, it is it's just a sign of the times, I guess. Like let's just do more mind-numbing television because we can't do anything else. But I didn't really want to talk about the economy. Just sort of sideswipe. What I really wanted to talk about, Dave. Well, first of all, I wanted to know what you thought about it. But today, I think it's today, the International Court of Justice started hearing the genocide case that was brought against Israel by South Africa. So the International Court of Justice is an international adjunct to the UN that where nations, individuals, but nations can go and air their grievances. And South Africa has brought a case against Israel of genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. That's actually astounding on many levels, because I'm getting a lot of hate for this.
Here we go.
At uni, I had this thesis, which I didn't finish working on, and hopefully my lecturer forgives me, Miss or Dr. Piggott, not Dr. Leanne Piggott. But she encouraged me to delve into it. In my opinion, I said to her, the state of Israel would not exist hadn't it been for Hitler. And she goes, okay, well, what do you mean by that? Well, I said, look, Hitler, and for whatever reason, doesn't really matter, went about and wanted to solve the Jewish question in Europe. He wanted to get rid of the Jews in Europe. That was one of his key platform promises that he made, right? And he went about and did it, right? He in anger, like millions of people were killed, not just Jews, in his mad rush to the concentration camps, but the communists and gays and handicapped people, and generally anyone that he didn't like, but certainly Jewish people, right? But it was this Holocaust, as it were, that swayed world opinion and allowed, I think, for the state of Israel to swing into existence. Now, bear in mind that after World War II, Palestine was British protectorate, right? And both the Arabs, mostly the Palestinians, as well as the Jewish immigrants that mostly lived in the kibbutz system, but not exclusively, were fighting for control of the territory, because the Jewish people said, that's it, we had enough. And they got a lot of support from overseas, from rich Jewish people overseas. That's a fact. A lot of monetary support. And in the end, they won. The British had enough and said, look, we can't do this anymore. This is just too hard. And they left. They just packed up and left. Just like America got out of Afghanistan. Now it's just too hard. Let's just go. Come on.
Oh, that was a world record, that one.
Wasn't it? And so it was this sentiment, I think, the undercurrent as well, that both the global Jewish people with money, right, the ones that weren't in Europe or didn't live in Israel, felt that the Jewish people should have a homeland, right? And so it was this wave of sympathy as well for the Jewish people that helped create the state of Israel. And then Israel bore itself out and then showed the world that it could hold its own. At which point America became interested to be its partner. That was back in the late 60s, early 70s, not before. Surprisingly, everybody was courting Egypt. But the point is this: it was a Holocaust that brought about the creation of the state of Israel, in my opinion, a genocide. Okay, and here we have another alleged genocide, right, on the Palestinian people. And this is interesting. Under international law, I'm going to read this out to you because this is important to understand. Under international law, genocide is defined as committing one or more acts with the intention to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. And these are the acts: killing or causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction, in whole or in part. Next is imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, and finally, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Okay? So, did these things happen? Well, the first one, certainly. Killing or causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, I think that's a tick. More than 23,000 people have now been killed, apparently mostly women and children. Okay? So they say. Now you could argue deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part for the last 60 years, because they all lived in camps. They were treated, they had no real life per se. I'd say, well, maybe. Tick. Imposing measures intended to prevent births? Well, not really. That hasn't really happened. Unless you count the destruction of hospitals as that, and the medical supplies, which will make it very hard for children to be born healthily into the world. And one thing that hasn't happened, of course, is that forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. That hasn't happened. Okay, but is this a frivolous case? And it is very troubling that Israel should be accused of genocide, being the victims, of course, of genocide themselves. And you wonder, just how did we get here? How did we get here? How did we get where people that were, the victims of genocide. I'm not just talking about World War II. I'm not just about Hitler. Jewish people have been, they've been persecuted for centuries. My own ancestors, back in the 1880s, I imagine, or part of my ancestorship, because I'm a Bitzer, I'm a European Bitzer, went from the Ukraine into Germany in their wisdom to escape the Russian pogroms, which back then killed about 100,000 Jews in Russia. Interestingly enough, Theodor Herzl started his yeshiva, the first yeshiva, which was the movement, or the moving out of Jewish people into into Palestine then, in the 1880s, after the Dreyfus affair in France, where a French military officer was falsely accused of a crime because he was Jewish. So he was the scapegoat, or that's how it was perceived. And Theodor Herzl thought, oh, this is no good. So he got people out, or started to get them out in the 1880s to what was then still Palestine under Ottoman command. And the Ottomans didn't care. Sure, do what you want. So they started the kibbutz movement. That's how it started. The kibbutz movement was a completely socialist movement, sort of not really following the teaching of Marx, but sort of the zeitgeist of socialism was embodied there. And it wasn't a religious thing at all. It was really just a community experience. If you know about kibbutz in there, they really are little communist enclaves where everybody owns everything together. So then you go further back into history in Europe. Ever since the Jews have been in Europe, they have been blamed and killed and persecuted, and they've always lived in pretty much ghettos. They've pretty much lived in ghettos, sort of shut away from the rest of the population.
In the shadows of nations.
Yeah, and they were never allowed to own property. That was the biggest thing. They were never allowed to own property, like land, right? So what do? So you do something else, I guess, for a living, that is. Anyway, but now here we are, the state of Israel, accused of genocide. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think I would see it. Look, Israelis have always treated the Palestinians very poorly, and you could even, could say that this has been going on for decades, which it has. But I just didn't think anybody would bring the case. Have these things been happening? Yes. But I find it astounding that today, right now, there's a case brought, and not only is there a case brought, it's brought by South Africa.
Yeah, that's so bizarre.
Which itself, of course, emerged from a terrible history of apartheid. Not too long ago, as things go, right? And maybe they feel the moral obligation to speak up and say, "Hey, this is not right." I mean, surprisingly, though, it wasn't brought by the Arab nations or the Muslim nations, for that matter. The South Africans brought this case. Okay? Will it be? It doesn't even matter if it's going to be tried, because, well, it will be tried, but it doesn't matter what the outcome is, because there's no way to enforce anything. And this is really where the UN falls down, Dave. The UN has no leg to stand on.
It's toothless.
Toothless, completely. So let's say the UN, let's say the International Court of Justice rules that, in fact, Israel is committing genocide. Then what? Okay, so here's the ruling. What do we do? Well, stop it. Okay, sure. Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. My bad. Nothing will happen. You will have a ruling which will be historic, mind you. It will be historic, and it'll be, I don't know. I mean, the thing is this, right? So let's say this verdict comes through. It'd be very hard for the Americans to continue supporting Israel, and justifying it to their own people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I hear.
It'll be a really tough sell, and funnily enough, if Donald Trump were to be elected president, right, in the next round, he would just shut down all this foreign stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's no interest. He's got no interest. And you know what? People always look at him as though he's some kind of boogeyman. America, for the longest, actually, yeah, for the most part of its history, didn't want anything to do with global stuff or European stuff. Nothing. I didn't want anything to do with that. That's yours. That's your business. Leave America for the Americans. Thank you very much. Americans historically have been isolationists, not in trade. They like to trade. They were like a great trading nation. Don't get me wrong. Political influence. They weren't really interested. Right? That all changed after World War II. Completely. It was a completely different game they were playing. Right? It sort of started between the wars a little bit, but after World War II, it was on for young and old. You know, on for young and old, because the Americans had really been putting a lot of money, effort, resources into the military machine, right? Into the military-industrial complex. And a lot of people made a lot of money. And they said, hey, this is awesome. We don't want to give this up. Who would have thought that war is so profitable? Well, the Rothschilds, of course, but
Raytheon, Halliburton.
Oh, my. Oh, yeah.
Grumman.
100%. You know, and the Rothschilds were looking at the Americans, hey, we've been doing this for centuries. Where you been?
What do you mean stop? No, what do you mean stopping war? We were loaning money to everybody.
Exactly. Nobody wants to stop war. And I've told you this before. My lecturer, so my professor, Dr. Keith Sutter, he's a member of the Club of Rome, as I learned later. And I was studying political sciences on him many years ago. And he said, war is terrible. Nobody profits. And I thought to myself, what a liar! Yeah, he says war is a terrible thing. Nobody benefits. But that's just the most blatant piece of propaganda I ever heard in my life. It's like, yeah, of course the people don't benefit. I'm with you, gotcha. But people are making hundreds of billions of dollars on war. I mean, there's a really great movie, Dave. What's it called? A Lord of War. That's it, with Nicolas Cage and Jared Leto, actually. And it's brilliant. Have you seen it?
No, I was thinking of Starship Troopers.
Oh, dude,
but then that didn't match the brief.
Lord of War. If you have not seen it, it's got one of the most effective beginning sequences I've ever seen. Oh. Lord of War.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage. Anybody who hasn't seen it, go see it. And well, he plays an arms dealer. It's based on true events. It is actually, it's loosely based on the story of this arms dealer. And it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And there's this shooting is going on, right? And each time a gun is discharged, it goes from the sound of gunfire to cash register.
Nice.
Ching,
ching,
ching, ching, ching. And that's exactly what it is. These bullets cost money.
It was just the sound guy having fun with it. No.
Oh, that's it.
That's
because
funny.
Every
that's
time.
Funny.
Yeah, but look, this.
But we know it.
Yeah.
You and I, we know it.
Yeah. It's astounding, and yet here we are. Denying, in fact, that this is a thing. No, absolutely it's a thing. Absolutely it's a thing. And trust me, people are making a mozza on the action in Gaza right now. And recently, Dave, they yesterday or the day before, there was the biggest Houthi attack from Yemen on Western shipping. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Which of course now means that the Western, what was it called, Operation Prosperity or something?
Sure.
It's called something like that, dude. Seriously.
Sounds like it's doing everything everyone favors, doesn't it?
I know, right? But there's something is on the. Oh, here we go. The U.S. and the UK hint at action after largest Red Sea attack. Okay. And I go, okay, that's interesting.
And the winner goes to.
That's right. Right. I want to see if I can find the name of the. I can't find the name of it, but it's something like prosperity, ongoing prosperity, or some crazy thing. Yeah, it's always something like that. Yeah? it's like shock and awe. Yeah, that's it. No, but this is. I think it's ongoing prosperity. But see, okay, so this is the scenario now. The Israelis just killed the senior Hezbollah.
Mm-hmm.
Not Hamas.
No.
Hezbollah.
Because they were firing missiles into their land. So,
Correct.
What are you going to do?
Go on.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's true. Now, the Yemeni-based Houthi rebels, who are supported by Iran, are attacking all the shipping that is happening in the Red Sea. I mean, a lot. There's a lot of, to the point where all the shipping companies decided, no, we're not going through the Suez Canal anymore. We are going through the Panama Canal, or we're going around the Cape of around Cape Horn or whatever, but we're not going to use the Suez Canal. So that shipping route, which saves millions in shipping, by the way,
that's right,
if not more, was just dead, right? I mean, it's like when it's like that time when the ship got stuck in the Suez Canal.
Grand.
That's just gold. Now, if you really want to hurt world shipping, you just blow up the Suez Canal. That's what you do, right? I mean, seriously, that's what you have to do. But see, the thing is this. So what's happening is you've got the Israelis fighting the Palestinians in Gaza as well as the West Bank. Okay, that's happening. A lot of refugees going into Egypt. That's happening. At the same time, the Israelis are also attacking targets in Lebanon. Okay, killing Hezbollah leaders, which is a big mistake. But at the same time, of course, the Yemeni Houthis, which are backed by Iran, are attacking Western shipping. So this is all just one gigantic powder keg now. And it doesn't take much for this to ignite into an entire regional action kind of thing, right? I mean, they already have 2 carrier groups there. It doesn't take much to bring more in. And everybody's been sending troops. Australia, admittedly only a few, but Australia has sent troops into the region. Why? What you said, it's like 20 or 30 people they sent, which is whatever.
Well,
but
we've sent a bunch to train people.
Yeah,
train. Yeah, that way we're not really truly committing anybody, and we're not involved in the war. We don't fire bullets. Yeah. and this is the way it's occurring right now. The same as Ukraine, right? That's what we were doing. We were sending people there to train people.
Yeah. Well, that's right. You're right.
We have one of the best secret militaries. It's not secret, but their operations aren't discussed. Where we send people in, never seen, no one sees them. They do a whole bunch of intel and get out.
That's it.
That's where we're one of the best.
Oh, look, and our special forces truly are special.
Yeah.
Now, I just found it. A week ago, a statement was put out by the UK, the US, Australia, Bahrain, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Germany, Italy, Japan, Netherlands, New Zealand, South Korea, and Singapore, who launched Operation Prosperity Guardian.
Sounds great.
Told you, it's beautiful. But this and by the way, the war in Yemen has claimed 150,000 lives since 2014. And it left more than 20 million people displaced and in need of aid. Now, this is a war that Saudi Arabia is waging as well against.
But people like the Saudi Arabians for their oil, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, the Saudis are facing off with the Iranians in Yemen.
Yeah.
Because the Saudis don't see eye to eye with the Iranians. Now, the Iranians are not Arabs. People always make that mistake. Iranians are not Arabs. Iraqis are. Iranians are not. And they're different kind of Muslims to the ones in Saudi Arabia. So it gets really complicated in that little area there. And they all hate each other so much.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
But it's a powder keg right now, right?
Oh,
everyone's getting in on it. Turkey, Lebanon.
Oh, yes. So, look, the truth is this. This is where I'm really worried. I really am worried about this particular...
Have you seen the ships, Mackie, that have to arm themselves?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They have snipers on board. They've got high-powered weapons, rolls of razor wire around the edge to stop the pirates. They're like, what are they, Sumatran pirates or something?
Oh no, no. These are the Red Sea pirates. These are Houthis and also Sudanese.
Yeah, right.
Because like the Red Sea obviously is between Africa and I guess Arabia, if you will, right, the
Mm-hmm.
Arab Peninsula, and a lot of Eritrean and Sudanese pirates get in on the action, right? Piracy in that area of the world is rampant. You know, I mean, and yes, there are pirates in the South China Sea as well. Maybe not as many as in the Red Sea, but there are pirates.
You know,
Okay.
the phalanx will make short work of any pirates. The phalanx, it's an automated weapon, and you find them, a couple of them, on very large battleships and carriers in the US fleet. They also protect ground, sort of, I forget what they call them, barracks, and in Iraq, so they can take out mortar fire or rockets, even in flight. So they're amazing. I've seen one of those used against pirates, and it just decimates their vessel.
Oh,
And then you've got to go and rescue them,
there's that.
because
And
it's,
it's
you know, otherwise you're just really mean.
but ultimately though, you hit it on the head. It's about cost. Everything is about cost. I mean, it costs more, so we don't want to do that, right? I mean, you could easily go somewhere else to ship, but I don't want to do that because it costs a lot more. So I'd rather kill all the pirates or whatever, and then be able to ship through here. Now, pirates have been a problem, since
Forever.
before the Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think it was Pompey.
They're just seafaring highwaymen.
Well, that's it. Yeah. In fact, Pompey, or part of his fame was to rid large sections of the Mediterranean of pirates. That's how Pompey
Wow.
came to fame. Close friends with Gaius Julius at the time, but that's beside the point. So piracy is all this time. It's just that obviously now the piracy is not so much stealing the stuff off the ship. It is about blackmail.
It's about ransom, yeah.
Ransom, exactly, right? So we got your people, give us your money, and then we let them go. Essentially, that's what it is. And there's insurance against this stuff, etc., etc. But that area of the world right now, not that it was stable to start with, is really looking. I tell you, Dave, it's.
I use the word powder keg, mate. And
Yeah. Now,
it's
see,
not going to take much to blow up.
Yeah. There's an interesting statement that was made just now. I saw as Israel officials support Gaza destruction. The court hears. Now here, this is apparently this is a testimony that was just put before the International Court of Justice. Israel's plan to destroy Gaza comes from the highest level of state the UN's top court has heard. The claims were made by South African lawyers as it presented its case accusing Israel of genocide at the ICJ. Remember what I said when Netanyahu's ultimate aim was here?
Yeah, to destroy it.
To destroy it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you heard it here first. You heard it weeks ago, because that was because there's no other reason to do what he did, and there's no other reason why this attack would have allowed to have happened, or would have been allowed to have happened, because there's no way in this universe that the Mossad didn't know about this, the attack.
And their border was very weakly defended for some reason.
That was, what happened on October 7th, there's no way that could have happened unless people in Israel let it happen.
It's like Pearl Harbor, Becky. There's so many examples of this style of, well, we're just going to look the other way for a minute. Oh, look, what's going on? Oh, well, it's game on.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a very short version.
100%.
But look, like I said, I was emotionally filled with hatred towards Hamas when I watched the body cam footage.
Of course you were.
And that's that. I'm not saying it was manufactured, right? I'm just saying what went out, and especially this. You're not allowed on YouTube to put anything up which goes against community standards, and one of those is killing. You're just not allowed to do it. You know, you'll both be demonetized and your YouTube channel will be cancelled. But I find what actually happens is it stays there for about 24 hours. When it's done by a huge agency for a specific task, and then it's removed. So you have a very small window to see it. But if a small person does it, it's just immediately shut down. You know, when people have live streamed something that they've done which is against the law for themselves with an agenda, then it's immediately taken down and it's illegal to download a copy of it. But that's not the case when it comes to big tech and these kind of operations. I think it's by design is to leave it there and make it visible and get the buy-in. And it's a way of distributing the footage. It's so cheap, like it doesn't cost anyone really anything to be able to then utilize these videos for their own purposes.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah. So
it's look.
And I'm supporting your argument.
No, but it's
there.
clear
Big
that
tech
somebody
is assisting through this. Yeah.
Somebody wanted the footage to be out, and I'm not defending what happened in October at all. That's just an atrocity. What I'm saying is that it is now being used to justify an even greater crime.
Mm.
And I mean, do two rights make a wrong? Do two wrongs make a right? Is there such a thing as a, I don't know, a morality defense where you say, well, I got to do the greater evil to prevent bad things happening to my people? Is this existential? Is it? Well, maybe it is. I don't know. But the point is that this is unbelievable, right? We're at a time now where you think, geez, this is a world that I didn't vote for this. I didn't want this to happen. This is not my idea of good time. And yet here we are. And in fact, I look at these judges in the pictures of the International Court of Justice, and they're all serious-looking men and women in the black robes and the white frilly stuff that they have. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, you're good legal minds. You understand international law. That's why you're there, and then you have these judgments. But wouldn't it be frustrating? I wonder what the suicide rate is among those people. Wouldn't it be frustrating to know that no matter what you decide, it's completely irrelevant because nothing will ever happen? It's just like
it's a fruitless adventure to even embark upon it. Yeah, the claim is probably real. I've got to hear the evidence, but still, regardless of what I do or say, the people are going to die anyway, right?
Yeah. It's a puppet show.
Yeah, it is.
And you're thinking, okay, so why am I doing this? Because, well, look, I think you're doing it for posterity. Because you want to be able to say, no. We knew this was wrong, and this is what we did. We couldn't enforce it. So, nothing ever came of it, but we tried. Look, we tried. We see? Of course they didn't. Not really. Because if you really want to if you really want to stop something, you can. If you have the conviction. Remember we talked about these tourist protesters that will protest for a couple hours, then they go into the next nearest Starbucks and have a triple mocha latte with caramel sauce, and discuss, just how socially responsible they are.
Yeah.
You gotta do what the guy does in Canberra, the tent embassy, and stay there. You gotta stay there and protest whatever it is that you're protesting. If you believe it. If you believe it or not. If you don't believe it, then fair enough. It's okay. I get it. But if you really believe it, that is now your purpose in life. Okay? If you really believe it. doing a bit of a protest here and there, it does nothing. It does nothing. Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh, good Lord. This has been Plato's Cave. Thank you so much for allowing us into your homes at this hour. Hopefully get some fun listening to us. And we're going to come back to you on Sunday with Shadows Set Out. Shameless cross-promotion.